Alright, so this is a replay analysis from a Reddit thread. It is for Hippopotamus off of Reddit, All Things Protoss. It says, can't quite deliver the knockout. Help from ATP, All Things Protoss would be greatly appreciated. So I'm going to go ahead and watch this replay and see what happens. Oops, I want to start from my downloads though. Probably also want to cover my event so I don't get so much feedback. There we go. Much better. Yep, Hippopotamus versus Mojo, a gold level Zerg. On Secret Spring. Alright. Mojo loves you. Alright, so looks like Forge Fast Expand. Yep. Alright. Zerg player went Hatch first. Nope, he went Pool. Pause. Mumble. I'm doing a replay analysis, Chase. I'll be back in just a little bit. Okay. Alright, back to this. He went 15 Pool. It is a Forge Fast Expand. He's got his Forge down in time. Nothing too crazy so far. Hasn't lost anything. He's got the scouting information that he needed. Then he can put on the Forge. He gets his cannon down in time and his wall up. So it's going to be okay. You could have moved this pylon back farther and used a gateway to wall in here. I believe you can wall this map without using a pylon in your wall and using just a gateway and a forge. But I haven't walled on this map a ton, but I think there is a way to do that. But that's a minor point. He gets gas. What's his tech path going to be? Is the question. Zerg's got a third. He's got gas. He hasn't started speed yet, but he probably will be fairly shortly here. Worker-wise, it is 26 to 22. There's a Roach Warren out. That's pretty early Roach Warren. It's not super early. And it doesn't look like the Zerg is getting speed, so it looks like it's going to be some sort of Roach Rush. What is our Protoss player doing? He has started +1, which I think is early unless he's doing some sort of gateway attack. Also, he took all his gases up top, which is an okay timing, but he better start using those gases pretty quick, otherwise he could have been using these minerals for something else. Okay, so he's getting an early sentry, which I like, and he's getting his mothership core, which is good. It's good defensive play, although the mothership core isn't as strong on this map because the photon overcharge won't reach the ramp like it will on like Vani Research Station. Start player, normal things. It's interesting that he took his gas and hasn't taken it either. Speaking of gas, okay, so he's using gas. Question is, what does he have as his hotkeys? Okay, so he's got Chrono Boost building up on the one. Okay, so he's still Chrono Boosting out. Warp Gate Research, this is a little risky. Actually, he's scouting with the mothership core. This is smart. I really like this, actually. I was going to say it was a terrible idea. I don't know why I gave up on it, though. I think he would have gotten that. It might have been close. Anyways, I was going to say it was a terrible idea for him to just send the sentry out there. Basically get surrounded by a few lings and killed for basically free. But with that mothership core scout in the only direction you knew the Zerglings to come from, that was smart. Double Robo is a little bit odd. It's also surprising that he saved up that much to do that all at once. Does he have any scouting information? Does he know that the Zerg might be building roaches soon? But he's not. What is the Zerg actually doing with his? He's just macroing. All he's doing is getting... Oh no, he didn't build a few roaches. No. He's got no scouting information at all right now. He could have had a robo out. Hippopotamus could have had a robo out. And also this probe isn't doing anything. He could move that back in and be using it. But that's a minor point. He could have had an earlier robo out and got an observer and kind of know what's going on. Oh, he's got a scout going out, so he sees some roaches. He even clicks on a roach. Good for him. 2 evil chambers. Says he's probably going roach hydra. Not necessarily, but it leans towards that. Especially since he has no lings out at all. He's never built lings. This is when you should start looking at taking a third, around 9 minutes. Especially since you just got a scout off and you know that he's basically only got these roaches. Also, it's kind of odd that the Zerg player didn't scout with any overlords. As far as what third to take, I like to take this third here. Because I feel then when I get Colossus I can have him sitting here. It seems like a lot farther to go all the way over here, and there's this big open zone where force fields aren't as good, I feel. As opposed to just scooting around the wall, at least then you've got at least one wall that you can back up against. So he gets +1 and then he gets armor. He's got a couple. Okay, so this is a weird immortal sentry push. He doesn't have enough sentries to really make it work if he went lings. Well, luckily he went roaches, so these stalkers are strong. I think he got those before he saw the roaches, though. Economy-wise, we are at about even worker supply. Army supply, the Zerg is a little bit ahead. The roaches are inefficient. I don't know if Queen's count towards army supply or not. But the Zerg player knows this is coming. He's going to supply cap them, that's nice. And lings aren't a good answer. Just getting grow. What is this? Guardian Shields don't stack, so using Guardian Shield on all of them isn't necessary. Also, I would have tried to keep the sentries a little farther back. Oh no, Mothership Core. Not the biggest deal. The Zerg player did a good job of focusing down the Immortals, which took a lot of the punch out of this. Probably could have used Force Fields here instead of Guardian Shield on all 3 of them. One Guardian Shield is great, but like I said, it doesn't stack, so... Alright, so at this point it's just trading. I'm not getting anything done from here. Nice proxy pylon placement though. Do a little work down on the low ground. Sea Hydras though should be teching towards Colossus now, and during all of this you started to make quite a bit of money. As you see you're not making headway, I would start to back off. Keep warping in because you need to keep using your warp gates. How many warp gates do you have, by the way? It's T for structures. We have 4 warp gates. It's not enough. Not for 2 bases. Should have at least 6. Figure about 3 warp gates per base that you have. Also, as far as continuing upgrades, against Zerg, I like to go weapon upgrades over other things. Armor is nice against Terran, and against Protoss I still just get weapons. It's nice that you throw out a second forge here. Alright, so your third's under attack. So when you threw down this third, did you know that Overlord was there? Let's fast forward. When do you send out the probe to build that? Probably as this attack is finishing, you should be sending it out any second here. So your third's a bit on the light side, I would say. During that attack, you could have had a third coming up, and he would have been distracted, still trying to take care of this. He expands right after this, you're expanding right after this. So there's an Overlord over here. You could have cleared this out. A lot of time what I like to do before I take my third is send my Mothership Corps to see if there's lings or anything like that over there, and if I see an Overlord, I'll try to pick it off, because he knows it's there right away, so he sends roaches around to go kill it. You could have the majority of your army over by the third and just leave like a sentry and maybe a stalker or something back here, and have the rest of your army sitting by your third protecting it. Because if you have to cancel now, it's a fair amount of lost time that you're not going to have that third up for. Okay, so now you know he has burrow. Do you have an observer anyway? I know you built 2, but where are they? Observers. We want units. Alright, so you got one coming over, and the other one's back here. You must have used the select all army hockey, which I know, and I still do it occasionally, that you need to get off using the select all army hockey. It will help you tons, because it won't drag all your observers to one place. You know, the observer near his base to see what he's doing. You can see that he's throwing down Hydra upgrades and that he's getting a lot of them. So it's definitely Roach Hydra, and the best counter for Roach Hydra is Colossus and Storm. They're researching Storm, which is good, but I think going... Oh no, you've got Colossus coming down too at the same time, but you haven't built any yet. Oh, you're just starting Colossus. So your observer sees this, and your reaction. Once again, I think your army should be over, or at least somewhere in between. I would put your mothership core probably right in that area, or even just have it at your third. Those aren't bad force fields, they help considerably. Change them snuck in. It's not good though. Shouldn't have these sentries taking that plan. They do lock his army and Hydras. Ideally, though, you would have had the Immortals and sentries behind the Stalkers and the Zealots. You do have Blink, but that Blink can't really help you a ton. I feel like you're delaying your tech. Third Robo's fairly aggressive. You're not going to have gas to support that, and also getting Templar. And now that you have Storm, you should be warping in Templar. Is he doing anything funky? He's got a Hive coming up. Does he have 2-2 yet? Oh, he's got 1-1. It's production. His 2-2's almost done. Your 2-1's done. You're not using both your forges right now either. I think 3 Robos is too many at this point for sure. Maybe on a 4th base. Unless you were just making a Mortis, but you're not just going to make a Mortis. So instead of having both Robos thrown at the same time, you could have had the one Robo. And you could have gotten a Robo Bay earlier and had Colossus earlier. If he had had those roaches in that fight, he would have crushed your army, and I think he'd be dead. Color your warp kits. Have you warped in any Templar yet? No. So you research Storm, but you're not using it. So it's gas that could have been Colossus. Colossus, the transition is usually Colossus first, Templar after, because you have to wait for energy to build up, and you only have a certain amount of them. Whereas when you have enough units to tank for the Colossus, they're just splash, splash, over and over and over. So they're kind of better early, and then Storm's better later because it's higher DPS. But it takes time to get to that point. Also, when you're building a 3rd or even a natural, or the 4th, you should learn how to build a photon pocket against Zerg. Okay, so he's going Mutus. When's the last time you scouted his base? What do you see on his base right now? Against the Zerg, oh my god, not a lot. You know that he has a lair, and that's it. Obviously he has a lair because he has Hydras. Against a Zerg player, it is so important to be continually scouting with either an observer around his bases or with a sentry. Because when mutas show up like this, how many mutas did he build? He's got 10 mutas already. And your entire anti-air at this point is 5 stalkers, which means you're pretty much screwed. Sorry to say it, but that's how it is. If his mutas end up on your side of the map and your anti-air can't take out his stalker, or your anti-air isn't good enough to kill the mutas on the side of your map, I mean, you can warp in, but you're behind. Having blink is nice, and you should be warping in nothing but stalkers at this point. Stalkers, and you should have had storms already. You got to throw down cannons at your mineral lines, and honestly, The way that I deal with mutas the best at this point, well, to scout them and know they're coming, is get my cannons down and then get aggressive. Because if he has to fight mutas into Archon, Storm, or enough blank stalkers, mutas aren't good in a straight up fight. And if he can't get good picks or good trades on probes and important tech buildings, because you've got a photon cannon or two in each mineral line, it will do wonders. Also, having your mothership core either with your army so you can recall if you think you need to get back after doing damage, but only after doing damage, because in a base trade you will kill stuff faster with a Protoss RV than mutas will. So doing significant damage to him by killing a hatchery, like his fourth and third, and then recalling back to stop his mutas from continuing doing damage. He's just going to play you back around now. I'm sure that's what happens for the rest of this game, is he's just going to use these mutas to pick you apart. Basically, because they were unscouted. But back to the photon pocket. A photon pocket is when you build a photon cannon that's walled in with pylons and gateways. It's very good against Zerg players who go Zerg wings, because a single cannon can kill a lot of wings like that. It just has a super high amount of effective health. One of these should be a pylon, because this is an Artosis pylon now. You can kill that pylon. You got one in there. This one doesn't need one anymore. It's a little late for the Stargates. He's still open. He has on Swarm Host too. Dirty, dirty. Although you have Colossus ready. So these are the first two Templar you've warped in, and you've had Storm for probably at least 5 minutes, I think. Army supply-wise, you are behind. Not a ton, but enough. Those mutas sweep right in and I killed these probes, pick off these cannons before they were done building. So I think what's going to happen now is he's just going to grind you apart with these Swarm Hosts. You don't have enough splash to deal with them. Once again, I don't think you scouted them. Constant scouting. At least every 2 minutes, in-game minutes. You need to be sending a hallucinated Phoenix or an Observer. Because the Zerg can switch tech fast, and if you don't know it's coming, you can't have what you need to counter it. Luck with them on the racist cam. That's really their benefit. They're just going to get crushed here. They're doing pretty well, actually. Oh, he just recharged. Well, no, you killed his tanks. Didn't lose any Colossus either. So how do you lose this game? Just a rotary max? Good force field. 2 force fields right here would stop those. Although I don't think you're going to lose much to them if you keep running. Probes are sitting there. As you start to get low on mineral patches, I like to transfer away workers early, even though there are still enough mineral patches to technically support them. Transferring into a fresh base. Killed quite a few Swarm Hosts there. Good Storm. Kill all these edges. Kill Swarm Hosts too. You're gonna command and lead now, I think. It's the army supply. What's he remaxing on? Production. 30 roaches. Yeah, 3-2 upgrades too. Still a couple Swarm Hosts, but you'll kill these. Not having an Observer? You killed your Observer. So he's barely ahead on income. He hit 3-3. You're almost at 3-3. So right here, if this cannon were right next to the nexus and you put 2 gateways here and had this next to this, you would block off Zerglings from attacking this. You gotta run behind your base. It's annoying, but it's not the end of the world. You don't need to bring all this back. Those 4 zealots were enough to handle it. But he didn't really do anything with that positioning. So you're gonna roast those. He has more army? No. Maybe put an army. He's not building anything to counter your Colossus. $27 mutas. Okay, so he switches into mutas again. This is the point where having more Archons than Stalkers would be good. Stalkers are fine for small amounts of mutas, but as the mutaball gets bigger, the answer is really Storm and Archons. Phoenix if you micro them well and have the range upgrade. But it's a pain to do, it really is. Okay, so he just builds mutas, that's it. Mutas and Lings. I don't think you have enough Stalkers. Can't get upgrades. Stalkers are one of the worst units to have after the 20-minute point. They do less damage than Zealots, and if you need good anti-air, the answer is Archons. You did a very good job spending your money in this game, though. Oh, they should be looking at taking another expansion here pretty soon. I think your natural just mined out not too long ago. So you should have another Nexus coming up to send those probes to, but really, the reason you're going to lose this game is because you don't have enough anti-air. How many gates do you end up with? Warp gates. 9. It's an okay amount. You could have more if you had money for it. But you don't. But, yeah. That's a lot of Colossus, too. I don't think you need that many. Not after you kill a Swarm Host. So after you kill his army, that's a good time to scout with a hallucinated Phoenix, because that will tell you what he's remaxing on. You'll see what's coming out of the hatcheries and know what you need more of. The answer was not more Colossus. Like I said, Archons, like 4 or 5 Archons instead of all those Stalkers would have completely changed this game. Because the only thing that he can build that's going to be good against Archons are Swarm Hosts, really. And he didn't have the gas to do that with the mutas. So, as the mutas are coming out, if you morph a bunch of Archons, I think you win this game. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have questions, feel free to send me a PM. But yeah, honestly, you did a lot of good things, but not being able to handle the tech switch is what killed you.